All right, welcome back. It's another shortened, abbreviated version of Don't Hassle the Hoff show. It's episode 14 for those keeping track at home. And once again, seemingly my new partner in crime on this show, War Machine. Welcome, buddy. How you doing?
What's going on, Hoff? It's Super Bowl, baby.
It
You
is.
ready?
So we're doing, just so everyone watching at home, we tagged a whole bunch of people because I'm allowed to do whatever I want. And I can do that for HSTL. And then I got War's approval for 2K, obviously, because it's the league and Thunderdome. We are doing a quick preview show, and then we will be doing the Super Bowl right after this. Players ready and waiting. We're going to go over the preview and what have you, so it's just not going to be very long. And then literally probably within a couple of 5 minutes or so, I'd say 10 at most, after the show is over, we'll be going right into the Super Bowl on my channel. The Bills, the upstart Circling Wagon Bills at the juggernaut Browns for 2K Tecmo 2K Season 2 Super Bowl. So, like usual, when it involves 2K, War Machine is going to be doing a lot of the talking. I'm just going to probably talk too much and interject my stuff. And that's pretty much it. So, without further ado, War Machine, take it away, buddy.
Thanks, Hoff. Yeah, so just want to welcome everybody for joining us here. I know we tagged a whole bunch of people not in the league. I just really wanted to, give a shout out to Hoff and to Player, for having great seasons. And I think given that, the Thunderdome is still going right now, there's been a lot of action. I really wanted to bring some attention to you guys and also to the league because it is a brand new league. So before we get into like the preview and some of the talk about the Super Bowl, I just wanted to, if you go to the next slide, Hoff, I kind of want to give a quick background on the league. So for those that are in 2K, you guys know all this information, but for those guys that are joining us for the first time and not know about the league, what it's about, not knowing what to expect in the Super Bowl, I just kind of want to give a quick overview of what the league's about. It is a modern NFL league, so we play with the current players. It's like Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, etc. It's a 20-team league. We have a tiered division format where we essentially lump in people who are similarly skilled into the same division. So if you're somebody who's maybe an average player or below average, you'll be in a division with guys that are similarly skilled. So it gives you guys a chance to compete, for playoff spots. You're not always getting beat up by all the top players, with a balanced format. So that's one positive thing that I think guys seem to enjoy. And some of the really interesting and fun things about the league that I like, and I think a lot of the guys that I've gotten feedback from, is some of the hacks and some of the extras that I bring to the table. So this league has 2-point conversions. It has the 30-yard extra points. We do have the modern NFL overtime rules. So you know how it is in Tecmo when you lose a toss in overtime, you're pretty much screwed for the most part. But we follow the current NFL rules. And we also have in the playoffs where it's not based on seeding. It's essentially the top 2 seeds get to choose their opponents. So, there's a little bit of, bulletin board material kind of. So it's a really fun league that I think, and this is our second season. Prime won our first season last a few months ago. We have season 3 draft that just finished. We have a preview show on Sunday going through the draft review. And then after that season ends, we have, and you'll notice at the bottom here, we have what is called the War Games League Tournament. It's only open to the folks in the league. It's a $500 winner-take-all tournament. Essentially, we take all the top teams from seasons 1 through 3. All the teams that made the playoffs in those 3 seasons are eligible. So we're going to have all the best teams with all the top players. And it's going to be a $500 winner-take-all tournament. So that's going to happen after season 3 completes. So that's this current season that's coming up. So we're looking to start this in the May or June timeframe. So once that comes out, I'm sure I'll be tagging everybody, for some exposure because I think it's going to be a really fun tournament that I'm going to run for the league. So that's basically it. I think that's what the league's about. Hoff, you've been in it for 2 seasons. Do you want to add anything to the information that I just provided? Any
Sure.
feedback?
So, one thing I will say is that much like the NFL, I don't know, well, maybe not much like the NFL. I don't know if anyone is actually experienced the modern NFL OT rules, I believe the first person who's gotten the toss has won the game. Correct me if I'm wrong, Warb. I don't know in 2 seasons if it's ever gone to the second possession. So that's cool to have that there in the first place. Everything you said is true. I think what I really like about it is that War Machine does the ratings himself manually. It's not a calculator. Like, for example, I used to run CTL back in the Tecmo World days, where we had a stat calculator where you would knew what someone's stats were basically by looking at their stats. You know, you could go on Pro Football, the NFL football site, I forget what that site's called or whatever, and you could see what their stats are going to be from season to season. War does this all manually, and he kind of puts his flair on it and really does a good job of trying to make sure the ROM's not too juiced, but not too slow, any of that stuff, and does a good job of trying to make it feel a lot like the original ROM, even if it's not the original ROM. So it's kind of cool because you're playing the game that we love, which is original ROM, and and the quirks of it and what have you. Sometimes we love the quirks, a lot of times we hate the quirks, and I ask myself regularly, why do I even play this game? And then you have the original ROM feel with the cool hacks that we have with the 2-point conversion, the extra points, yada yada yada. And then the last piece of it is simply it's players that you care about. So you can generate some discussion if oh, you don't agree with War's ratings or someone. Like, I was giving him hell all season because why is Josh Allen only 13 MS? He's like a beast. As you see his 3-game rushing total of almost 400 yards and yada. And why isn't he 56 MS like Randall Cunningham, QB Eagles, whatever you want to call him or whatever. So it's really cool. It's a fun new concept. It's got a strong wait list. We're hoping to add more. I'm trying to convince War to run a full 32-team league in the fall, but we can't do that without a stronger wait list. So if you're not in the league, you're not in the wait list, this sounds like fun, which, by the way, it is. You get the summer off, which nobody wants to play Tecmo anyway. Hell knows, everyone knows I'm on my boat every weekend anyway, and you can join the wait list and we'll run a full league in the fall. I'm sorry to steal that thunder, War. I just had to tell people that they need to sign up.
Yeah, of course. No, I definitely appreciate that. And like Hoff said, so after season 3 and after the War Games tournament, we're going to take off for about 3 months, maybe 2.5 to 3 months, just to kind of, recharge the batteries, let guys enjoy the summer with their families and friends, so we don't want to burden you with having league games to play. It'll give me some time to get the ratings done. Cause I'll be doing fresh ratings every start of NFL season, and we'll play with those ratings for that entire calendar year. So, that's one of the reasons why Josh Allen received the 13 MS was because I did the ratings before the season started. So he's definitely going to get a bump up, Hoff and Tadeos. Don't worry about it. He's not going to be Randall Cunningham, though, just so you know. But like Hoff said, join the wait list if you want. There's about 10 people on there now. We got 20 people in the league. That's about 30 teams. We get, a few more. We can consider maybe expanding. So that's about all I had. I don't want to take up too much time. I really wanted this to focus on you, Hoff, and Player with this preview. So I appreciate you giving me the time to kind of go over that. So let's just get going with this preview.
Yeah, absolutely. So on to the next slide. Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, I was going to say, so Player is the Browns, and he pretty much dominated the entire season. Now in HSTL, typically anybody that does an all defense draft, typically spending your first 3 or 4 picks on defense, typically they just struggle throughout the season. So Player took that approach this season in his draft, and his team just really dominated. He got great values on offense. You can see here, looking at the screen here, his offense, now it's not great, but given that he took defense in every single pick in his first 3 or 4 picks, he got a 50 MS running back. He has in Lamar Miller. He got Andy Dalton really late when folks were taking 44 QBs early. His receivers are slow, but they do have receptions there, and his offensive line is pretty good. So looking at his offense and comparing it to your defense, Hoff, your bread and butter really is the Rams defensive line. So for those guys that don't know, he has Aaron Donald, who's essentially like Bruce Smith on this ROM. And, having that defensive line with Ndamukong Suh, who is 69 HP, it really, impacted a lot of the poor offensive line. And looking at the offensive player, his offensive line is actually pretty good. And I think you told me, Hoff, and you might want to just clarify, looking at the alignments, I think you said that pretty much your defensive line may get negated given the HP difference, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. So I looked at the ROM before we started the show, and I wasn't really sure where to put my people because the only shot I had at putting. So I knew, at least I thought that I was pretty convinced that the 50 HP guys would go. 150 HP guy might be inside because he would have had to put one of his 50 HP guys, I think, at right tackle or something. He would have had to put his 56 HP guy at right tackle to get his maximum kick return speed. He forewent that, so his kick return is going to be suffer. But he put all his big guys inside, so it's pretty much. And then I guessed wrong of where to put Donald. So Donald, unfortunately, is going up against his 69 HP guy. So, I would have had to luck out and have Donald on his, or on a 69 HP guy. I'm sorry. I would have had to luck out and put him on his 56 HP guy, which I didn't luck out and do that. So unfortunately, both my big guys, even with conditions changing, are negated. The only way I think Donald breaks through is if his 69 HP guy goes into bad and Donald goes into excellent, which for the record has not happened all season. Sue has gone into excellent, but Donald has not. So actually, no, neither one of them have, I don't think. So that hasn't happened. So I don't think it's going to happen in this game. So unfortunately, I can't rely on my defensive line to bail me out. Not that they did, but it's always good when they've got pressure and someone makes a mistake or what have you. Now, if TJ Watt goes into good and his left tackle goes into bad because I put Watt at LB1, then maybe I got a chance at maybe getting some press there because that's a 25 HP difference. But other than that, I'm not looking for anything honestly in the middle. So we'll see how it goes, and I'm just gonna have to play some good, smart defense. That's pretty much all there is to it. And he's clearly probably going to stop me because I don't have the best offense, which we'll see in a second. But I'll definitely need to make some stops on him, which not said here in this tail of the tape is that his tapping ability compared to mine is much better. So it's gonna be I'm up against it. I'm playing with a clearly inferior team, and basically I might as well just play Gats and not tap at all. And but Gats is better than me. So anyway, I don't want to take up too much time, so we can keep going.
Yeah. So but look at the rest of your defense. Given his offense, not really highly explosive. Even with your Rams D line being negated for the most part, I still think you have a lot of good pieces there that are going to be able to stop him. So I think players going to have it cut out for him to try to move the ball against you. But with that tapping ability, if his running back Lamar Miller goes into good or something, that 56 MS could really prove to be the major difference in here. But I think you have the edge. When you compare the offense versus defense, I think you have a slight edge on defense, given the personnel. So I think this is where you can probably keep the game a little close. Not letting him score a lot of points. His defense. We're expecting his defense to step up and really give you some problems. But I think you'll have the opportunity as well to get some stops as well. So I give you the edge, on the offense versus defense. So we can go on to the next slide and we'll see, players, juggernaut of a defense.
Yeah, so looking at this, you can clearly see he's got Richard Johnson. I don't know what Bayard's HP is, but he's got pretty much Richard Johnson in his secondary. Plus, he has a combination of Mike Singletary and
Derek Thomas.
And Derek Thomas, and just basically insert two of your stud linebackers in HSTL or an original ROM here. Plus, he's got the 63 HP guy in the DL. So, what was really hard for me is I have one of the worst offensive lines on the ROM, and it doesn't look like that because there's no 38 HP guys. It's one of the worst. So I had to make a decision myself. Is I basically had to decide: am I going to forego kick returning myself to block his guys? Because basically my fastest guy is my 56 HP guy, and I needed to put that guy on Terrell Suggs, who he has at LB1, who I knew he wasn't going to move those people around because he wants Miller LB4. So I had to put my best offensive line guy, who's the fastest, at left tackle, and then I have to put my 50 HP guy at right tackle to block Miller, and then a 44 guy is just going to be on the defensive line. So basically, long story short, I'm towing the line with Suggs and with Miller. So if any of my guys go in the bad or any of his guys go into good, they're coming through every time. And then same goes for his 63 guy on the DL. Other than those, the other guys it doesn't matter. So basically, but the different, and I think Brew will tell you, even if it's not the 25 difference, they still throw them once in a while. So he's going to have some pressure on me, and I'm going to have to be careful and what have you. But I mean,
Yeah, that's really how he dominated all season. I mean, his linebackers really just crushed opponents. Like you said, it's essentially Richard Johnson, Derek Thomas, and Mike Singletary on defense. He doesn't have anything else besides those three guys outside of that 63 HP defensive lineman. But those guys just constantly are in the backfield causing chaos. So that defense versus your offense. So here's like really where I think a lot of respect has to go to you for like your for what you've done. So for those that don't know, Hoff started off 0-5 in this regular season. Was looking very gloomy in Buffalo, and then he just rattled off a bunch of wins. He went 8-1 in his last 9 games. He beat Jesus, who has Tom Brady, who's one of the best quarterbacks in the ROM, and he beat Nas, who's one of the best players in online Tecmo, period. So now looking at this offense, the shit show that you have a quarterback, with Eli Manning and Brock Osweiler. And I mean, just having those two quarterbacks and being where you are, I think is a to like your ability and this run that you're on. Because I mean, those guys suck, and the other pieces you have. Le'Veon Bell was one of the best running backs on the ROM at 3MS. That's a big piece with Devontae Adams at receiver, who gives you some speed and receptions. But really, quarterback play is critical in Tecmo for the most part, and you really worked wonders with those two.
I gotta tell you, like, I mean, I didn't lead the league. I mean, I know the stats are accumulating because I don't know why it's set up that way. Maybe Drake needs to look at that, why it's counting playoff stats in the stats. I wish it would turn off like it does in HSTL. At least I thought it turned off in HSTL. Maybe it doesn't. But but at the end of the regular season, Player actually led the league in rushing with Lamar Miller. And I didn't lead the league with Bell simply because Bell got hurt like the second play in my last game. But going on that run, by the way, it would have been 9 in a row. I would have accepted that literally I played Jesus in the regular season. He was one of my last games. And Tom Brady went to excellent. And I scored a touchdown with like a minute and a half left or 2 minutes left. But Brady was an excellent. And it's just like I had to stop him. And he literally scored on the last play of the game before kickoff. So he literally scored on a CC back of end zone stopped play at the end of the game to beat me on that run. So, and then obviously Brady didn't go into excellent in our playoff game, and Nas stuff happens. So, but I mean, I think that if I keep the ball away from Byard, or if Byard has to cover somebody and someone else is open, it's going to be I'm going to need a break. I mean, I'm either need to play lights out, which I mean, people have seen me in some of my games this season for whatever reason. My D is just on, and I don't allow a thing, and it happens. I mean, I think it happened in a game. One of my games versus Prime, where he just had a rough game, but it's just sometimes my D doesn't allow anything. Sometimes it's like porous. I don't know. But I think that it's going to be an uphill battle, and hopefully I'm just going to have a break or two go my way, whether it be like a fumble or or him making a poor decision throwing the ball, or his quarterback just sucking. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited about this, Hoff. I mean, both you guys are two of my favorite guys in the community. So, either of you win it, I'll be pretty happy about it. I'm also happy that it's not the same guys in every other league, like the Nas and Joey Gats of the world, winning this league. So it's nice to have some fresh blood in here. I think it's great that you and Player are in this. I'm excited to watch the game. I don't want to take away too much time here. I think right now you're going in as the underdog. I think Gats is giving you no chance. So hopefully use that as some motivation. But I'm looking forward to the game. I appreciate everybody joining here and listening to us talk about this. I'm sure you're feeling a little bit nervous at the moment. With kickoff coming up, fairly soon. So I hope you have some luck and wish you the best in this game.
Yeah, Gats has said -21 for Player in the chat. Gats can talk all the shit he wants. It's fine. If I win, great. But Matt DeGeorge told me something once that Matty D, for those of you who don't know his last name, and I don't know if he's watching or listening or what he's doing, but I will say there is significant value in playing a Tecmo game where you're not expected to win, because you have no pressure. and all the pressure is on player to win this game, because if he doesn't, it's gonna be terrible for him and amazing for me. Where if I lose, I'm expected to get smoked. So for what it's worth, I'm nervous because I really want this bad, but in the sense of like my Wusa Tecmo sense, those words that Matt told me one time. This was a while ago now. It was probably like 6 months ago, 9 months ago, before he got out of Tecmo for a while, before he came back then. So before he left last time, before he came back, he said that to me about a different scenario, but it still rings true in my head that I'm gonna give it my all, and we'll just see what happens. So, yep, I think it's gonna be interesting. And like you said, for what it's worth, it's good to have new blood in the system. And this all defense thing that you talked about, clearly it doesn't always work, because look what happened with Speed in HSTL. He chose all defense and he shit the bed real hard, like even harder than he shit the bed the first season. So I mean, I don't know if the difference is players is better than Speed, or that's or just maybe he just got lucky, whatever. But going all defense, usually you shit the bed, i.e. Speed. So
yeah.
So
cool, man. I appreciate it. I'm happy to be here with you. I wish you all the best. For those guys in 2K, we're going to have our draft preview on Sunday with our season predictions. Hoff and I will be back. We're not sure what time, but we'll let you guys know ahead of time. So look forward to that, and then catch the Super Bowl coming up right now. So Hoff, are you gonna log off? And
oh yeah, I'm gonna. So this is how this think you guys the sequence of events here. I'm gonna log off. Gonna contact player. He's waiting for me. Then we're gonna play the. I'll give you a notice that we're gonna play. I'm probably gonna tag all 3 tags again, and the schedule of events as War Machine said. We're gonna do the 2K preview Sunday night. I tend to think that we can do. I'm guessing probably our normal time slot, somewhere between 8 and 9, unless you got something going on, War. That's probably what works best, so we can get done, at a reasonable hour. And then just to keep going on the schedule of shows, the HSTL draft starts Monday. It's a 4-round draft for those of you who like to watch my shows. I assume War will be on with me again, but maybe not. Hope to do a show with him maybe Thursday night, War, if you're available, where we can do a draft review. Completely different draft format. We completely pretty much rebooted HSTL with our format, with our division. So there's a lot to talk about and a lot to go over. So I don't know if you're going to be around, War, but whether you are or not, I'm probably going to try to do it at some point next week. So, all right.
Let me know, and I'll let you know if it works for me.
Cool. So
sounds good.
With that being said, guys, I will tag you all. Good luck to player. Thank you, War, for running a great league. Thank you all for watching, and stay tuned. We'll be on real soon.